I decided to apply to Landmark for my pupillage because of its reputation.
Landmark has this really unique mix of practice areas which involves public law and planning alongside property, which you don't really get anywhere else.
I wanted to be in a place where you get a lot of high quality work.
I think the case that has been the most interesting that I've worked on during pupillage was the challenge that was brought to the government's national policy statement that laid the framework for the construction of a third runway at Heathrow Airport.
In my property seat, I got to go to the Supreme Court. Getting to go to the Supreme Court as a pupil was fantastic. That was only narrowly beaten in my public law seat by going to go to the European Court of Justice. During my planning seat, I got to go to the High Court and watch a challenge against the National Planning Policy Framework, which was a really major case in the planning sphere at that time.
My supervisor was advising the government on a really technical area of human rights law. Seeing my supervisor adopt my view and you see about 75-80% of your work go through to the final advice was really satisfying.
The supervision I found to be a process of learning by doing. I would do a piece of work during which the supervision would be light to medium touch, but when I had finished a piece of work, there would be extensive feedback.
From the most junior members all the way up to the most senior silks. If you have an issue, whether that's a legal issue, a personal issue, a team issue, there's so many people here that you can approach for assistance.
I've been impressed by the level of respect and the fact that there's no hierarchy here and that my opinion has been valued, even though I'm a very, very junior member of Chambers.
My supervisors taught me huge amounts during pupillage, but they were also super supportive in terms of the sort of pastoral care and how you manage this career with a life and various other things that you've got going on.
So the most challenging aspect of pupillage everywhere, I think, is the anxiety about not knowing whether or not you're going to actually become a tenant. It feels like the longest job interview you've ever done.
Just treat it as a one-year fixed-term job contract. Don't think about what's happening at the end. You're
being assessed over quite a long period, and that ability to bounce back not only will help you just get through what's a tough time, but you're going to find you have to do that a lot as a tenant.
If you're interested in making an application to Landmark, I would say do your research. We're very proud of the unique mix of practice areas that we have. We think that really does make us stand out from other chambers at the bar.
Get as much practical work experience as you can. It was something that really helped me, particularly with gaining confidence.
Showing enthusiasm isn't quite enough. It's got to be real practical experience. Make sure you take advantage of those opportunities that are available at university in terms of mooting, debating, performance of any kind, because you've got to cultivate that broad range of skills.
Another big part of this job is an ability to develop relationships.
That's with your supervisors, other members of chambers, particularly the junior end. They're going to really be your bedrock of support when you go into tenancy, and the clerks, and start talking to them early about the kinds of areas that you're enjoying and the kinds of areas that maybe you're not enjoying.
This isn't a chambers with lots of rules that you need to be following. It's not somewhere where you're under constant surveillance. Do ask questions. Do be open if you're struggling.
When I started pupillage, I had a 6-month-old son. The key advice I would give to anyone in terms of balancing that and juggling that is to be honest and transparent.
You've got a whole team here in terms of the pupillage committee, but also junior members of chambers and people that are looking out for you here that want you to succeed. So do say something.
We have 3 pupillages, and we offer 3 pupillages every year. But we also have 3 spaces at the end of the year for tenants. So it means that pupils genuinely aren't in competition with each other. So they've got a whole year in which to kind of develop and be who they are, show us who they are, work hard, but equally they know they're not under that additional pressure of knowing that they might not make the grade because someone might be better. So that's the first feature. The second feature is that we work quite hard to make sure that they aren't working crazy hours. So we give them a pattern. We tell them, that they have to work kind of normal office hours and that they shouldn't be staying late unless they really want to. They're trying to get something finished. So I think that's probably the other big feature of Landmark is that, you're working hard. Obviously you are, but you're not working too hard.
One of the nicest things about working at Landmark is it had a reputation for being a really collaborative, supportive environment. And since joining here, nothing has come along that has challenged that.